Hi, I'm Juliann Wiese. I grew up in Banff, Alberta, Canada, and now I live in Scottsdale, Arizona because it's a lot less cold. I started school in adult education and did a lot of facilitation over the years. I have certifications as an executive coach through a variety of different associations. Moved into a couple of really interesting roles, leadership effectiveness manager for a company, and then organizational development consultant for a global company, so I got to explore the world, and then have been on my own as a consultant and facilitator and executive coach for the last 13 years. What do people often assume about me that isn't true? Gosh, I'm proud that I grew up in Canada, and I think a lot of people don't know much about Canada, so I think there's a lot of assumptions, generally speaking, about Canadians, like we're all super friendly and super nice and super easygoing and super beer drinkers, and just being Canadian sets up a whole series of assumptions with people, like we live in igloos, which we don't. Right now, top of mind, what brings me joy is my dog. And my husband and I are cyclists, so we ride our bikes a lot, and we've been doing a lot of mountain biking. And I've gotten a little bit better, so now I can do some of the harder trails. And that's pretty exciting, it's really rewarding. So facilitation to me is really about setting up an environment where people get to see themselves more capable, more worthy, more valued in their own experiences, because we're not really spoon-feeding them content, we're really just enabling their wisdom to get surfaced. And it's fascinating to watch that dynamic, especially when people start to really, get this internal engine of my voice matters, and even if I'm not right about everything, I get to participate in a conversation where I share and learn from other people. I have one quick story to share. So we have a client that CEG was hired to work with, and they were going through a tremendous amount of change, and that included things like they knew layoffs were coming, so very challenging. And a lot of people entered in the room, and you could feel the atmosphere was very tight and constricted, and I think people came in wondering why they were there. Through the program, which in this case was 2 days long, I saw probably a half a dozen people make a complete and utter 180-degree turn because they realized that their feelings were important, as opposed to, we weren't there trying to tell them to stop feeling what they were feeling, but we were actually asking them to embrace it and to look for the potential that exists within that energy, and also options for them to consider. And they got to do that with their peers, and they got to see how many of them were all feeling the same things and worrying about the same things and anxious and frustrated about the same things. But they got to talk about, potential ways for them to both regulate around it and then manage themselves through it and out of it. Change enthusiasm content and the way that the content is delivered is unique. One is its true facilitation. Like, let's say we were doing the virtual program, which lasts for 4 hours. There's probably 5 breakouts. And so people are really getting to know one another within the program, so they're really building community, like-minded people. And so I think that makes it unique.